Ending of the classic, kid isn't mine. I just don't get it. Background: she cheated 3 times, 2 physical, 1 relationship. She admitted, stopped extra relationship after a while. We decided to fully commit. On a side note, I've moved here mostly from the going through divorce or separation places because I seem to having problems with coping. Some days are so effortless and others are great struggles. The ones that are the most difficult, it seems like the world is conspiring against me. Every song, every word, show, sign, or person remind me of what happened. I don't want to take things out emotionally on my wife or kids, but on those days, I find myself just shutting down and can't stop it. How do you deal with these feelings of sadness and loss? I know it's well I lost what I did because it was dead and what I have now is life again. But I seem to enjoy making myself hurt. I don't know any other way to describe it. I consider myself a very rational person and don't know why I do it or how I could stop this. Like I said, coping problems. We talked through it and worked it out. Then she lost her job about 6 months later, found some comfort elsewhere, and then I found out about that one, which shortly led to finding out about the rest. So, I'm technically about 8 months out now. Does it get easier? Whenever I seem to turn the corner and have a few good days or a whole week, something pulls me back and makes everything seem like a joke. We are going to be doing counseling after the baby is born and we get finances more under control. The baby was conceived after her affair had ended, so there is no for sure paternity right now. The due date we were given at the ultrasound puts conception on my shoulders. But you can't be for sure. I've been through this before with her and my oldest boy. She got pregnant by her ex a few days into us starting to see each other. That caused a lot of the problems that I am dealing with today. He's due in October. She has to have a cesarean, so the date will be planned. They will likely take him out a week or so before her due date to avoid natural birth. I am very worried about this day. We've already made plans for me to not be at delivery. But mentally and emotionally preparing for this is very difficult because I don't know which angle I'm approaching it all from. Also, things between us have not been good the last few days. I am being very hostile to her through texting. It is easier for me to digest my feelings and thoughts that way instead of spur of the moment. It's difficult for me to talk to her in person because I never get everything I want to say out. I'm always forgetting things or saying them wrong. Plus, I don't enjoy being mean to her or saying things that'll hurt her feelings. But these thoughts burst at the seams and need to come out. She texted me today that she loves me but she doesn't think I'm going to stay with her and she just wants me to get to the same place as her so we can move forward. I told her it's easier for her to do that because she had the fun of the affairs while I'm left with a broken heart and mind. Not so much fun. The oldest boy just turned 7 and is not my bio child. He is my son now, don't mistake that, but not biologically. It could be seen as an affair by some and not by others. We had just started seeing each other for not even really 3 days by then and hadn't made it official. I think the question of paternity is a big reason why I'm not letting go and moving on because it would seriously affect our relationship if not mine. And I don't know if healing forward a waste of time would be or not. A weekend away sounds nice and would probably help a lot. There's a lot of variables for us. We have 2 kids and babysitting is hard to come by and we work opposite shifts. And I have every weekend off while she doesn't. I know these are excuses. Maybe it's time to put those away. I've been trying to treat this as a second marriage like some have suggested, but it's so hard not to look at her and remember what's happened. Last night we watched a movie and cuddled on the love seat and it was very nice. As soon as we went to bed though I felt cold and distant again. I'm sure it had to do with my mind being distracted for 2 hours by the movie. Ups and downs are bothersome and I'm looking forward to them declining. Today is our boy's joint birthday party and I'm looking forward to that. Throughout all of this I feel like my fathering skills have increased dramatically, so I am grateful for that. I used to hate gatherings and now I look forward to them. Now if I could just feel like my marriage is going that same direction. The more I think about it, the more I feel the reason I'm having such a hard time is because the woman I see now is the same as the one I saw for the last 2 years. She hid things so well I never knew what was happening. Everything was innocent and I was being paranoid or snooping. She would still laugh with me, complain at things with me, and confide in me. We'd talk about our future and about having more kids, and then the night of her birthday she hit me with it. That same woman who did all those things with me is still there. Nothing new, nothing different to my eyes or senses. How in God's name am I supposed to tell or feel differently when I see the same woman in front of me? And hear that same woman tell me I'm her everything and she loves me, when it's the same person I saw ripping my heart out and feasting on it. It's been a month and I am in an updating mood. Plus, I want to get something out there and see what the general feel for it may be. Things have been going very well. My wife and I talk about feelings, fears, and just to each other all the time. I feel like I've gotten that original person back, and like I've only bettered myself. I seem to be enjoying even the drab parts of life again. What I am wanting to run publicly is about the baby. Delivery date is coming in about 4 weeks. Should I really care who the dad is? It changes nothing that happened. Nothing. It's not like, if this baby comes out mine then it erases the affairs my wife had. Everything is still going to be the same. I never planned on taking anything out on the kid. I have my wife back that I love, and I've been thinking lately that'll be enough no matter what. This isn't something I've run by her yet. I know if I told her this, then it would put the biggest fear of hers to rest, which is I leave if the baby's not mine. I want to give this a few days to soak, if you will, to make sure it's what I really think and feel before acting. I have a problem with spur-of-the-moment emotional decisions. I know a lot of you are very against the idea of raising another man's child, but it's not something I haven't done before. When I started to really think about the paternity not having any effect on the past and how it doesn't make anything she's done go away, it seemed so simple. If I want to be with her, then I want to be with her. The issue is infidelities, not the baby. The baby is a product of the infidelity, possibly, and that's all. The only problem that could spring up from this not being my kid is that he will be, I guess you could say, not of my skin color. That makes questions and comments so much easier to come to people's lips. And my kids too. I know I shouldn't care what other people think or say, but that's easier said than done, especially when I know what they're talking about is something I consider my business. We're still going to do counseling, but not until after the baby is born. I think it is still important to do. I know what our problems were before. I resented her for me being a father too early. I didn't know how to be a good boyfriend, and I wasn't ready to be a dad, no matter how much I lied and said I was. That turned into about 5 years of anger, put-downs, and a general hatred of life on my part. She hung as long as she could, trying to be the positive one, but it was too much. She was being too clingy and I was being too distant. She was made to be mom and mom only and wasn't leaving time for herself. And that started a resentment from her for me. When she hit me with the initial separation news, I flashed out of my funk and have been on the up climb since. Even when I found out about the affairs and the boyfriend, I was in a better place than I was a few years back. I guess I just don't understand what to do next to make sure we stay on the path and don't let it slip back. Both of us have admitted our faults and acknowledged we were both to blame for where we headed. I don't understand what hoops she needs to go through, I guess. She cut contact with the OM, no news about the pregnancy and how she's doing. I told everyone about the affair shortly after I found out, and I kept it positive about how I wanted to still be her husband and I wasn't supporting an affair. I didn't know about the steps, but that's what I did on my own. She has been honest to me about everything. I've checked on things and found her to be truthful when they look bad on her. Last time she saw OM was when he came into her work to ask about the baby. She has since changed jobs. I understand the letter thing, but I don't see how it'd help now. I told her straight up, you've forfeited any relationship, friend or otherwise, with these people. If you want us to go forward, this is how it has to be. Am I missing things or looking at this from the wrong angle? I know it's easier to see things I don't from the outside. So, today's our anniversary. We're leaving soon for dinner and to do some activities. Kind of excited how things have been progressing lately. My wife and I had a serious talk about things the other evening that was great. She told me she was so sorry about things, and when I said I know you are, she got very serious and said, no, I am very sorry about things. I want you to really understand that. She then began to tell me that she did so many bad things to me that I never deserved what she did. She said she doesn't know why this ever happened, and she had thought the person who was doing this had been gone forever. She said she married me because I made her want to be a better person, and she thought she was with me by her side. She told me things got way out of control and she never thought they could get back. She thanked me for staying the course with her and that if the roles were reversed, she didn't see it working out the same. I just told her that I loved her then and still do now, and that I made. My wife went out by herself with some friends for the first time since we've really buckled down trying to work this out. It's a friend of hers' 21st birthday and a small group of them are out celebrating it. I'm really not too bad with this. She's been doing a lot to regain and keep my trust these last 10 months. I think that her being very large pregnant has a lot to do with my comfortability with this. I really don't think I'd be okay with this right now if she wasn't pregnant. I know I'd be really paranoid and going crazy right now, but instead I've been watching football and the UFC all evening and cooking out with my boys. This pregnancy coming to an end is getting me pretty spooked. I'm not sure how my feelings will change when this is over. I have a strong comfortability in our situation right now. I know she'd kind of have to be more needing this to work while she's pregnant and less inclined to move on. I'm also pretty tired and my thoughts are all over the place right now. I've been thinking more and more lately about her cheating on me, visualizing and imagining things that have happened. Every day it gets closer to this baby being born. These thoughts are getting stronger. I'm feeling more and more anxious every day. I'm really afraid with how I'm going to freak the day this happens. Probably Thursday. Days later, the baby is born and mom is doing okay. So far, the visual test on the baby is inconclusive. A test will be done still. My wife told me today she doesn't believe the baby is mine. His skin is starting to darken. I feel so stupid for letting my guard down about this. I should have waited until everything was set to get my hopes up. We are still going to try, I guess. I really don't know what I'm doing anymore. This is very recent and fresh. My spirit feels deflated. I feel like someone's gone. This baby has the name we'd picked out for our kid. I feel so low and defeated right now. just down. My wife told me that she talked to OM last night when we talked. I didn't take it well and we got into it pretty good. I told her I wasn't sure if I could handle this. Today she told me he is planning on stopping to see her and the baby at the hospital. She says she hates him and all that jazz, but I still can't help but feel uneasy about him being around her. It makes me very angry to think about. I really don't know what to do anymore. I love my wife and want to be with her, but this is so difficult. I am so sad right now. I want to and feel like crumbling and sobbing, but I can't. Like something is blocking me from releasing. So sad. Every time I look at this baby I don't see me. This is so obviously not my son. I don't see my wife in him either. Just that other man. How can I do this? I see this boy and am constantly reminded of wrongs. My wife deserves better but wants that to be me. I don't know what to do anymore. This is not what I'd prepared myself for. I never could have foreseen feeling this sad. I don't take things out on my wife or kids. Like you said, extinguishers. No sense of ruining this if I can get through it. It just seems so hopeless right now. I feel better about us today after texting her for a few hours this morning. But who really knows right now? So, things have been pretty up and down lately. I haven't been coping well with all of this. The first week was very bad and we were back to being roommates again. I have really enjoyed the way this has amplified my relationship with my two boys though. We had an in-depth discussion the other night and I am feeling better about things at the moment. I am very bad about repressing my feelings and letting it affect relationships. But when I let it out and feel better for it. My wife is getting ready to leave right now to meet him so he can see his baby. She was going to go to his place to do it but I said no and now she is going to do it somewhere public. The mall. I was not comfortable with her being at his place and I'm kind of glad she saw this my way. I'm not going to lie. I fully expected to X this guy within an inch, the first time I came in contact with him. I told my wife I was going to, that there was nothing she could do to stop me. And I prepared myself for the legal repercussions. I needed to vent this way because I am so pent up that I feel that rage and anger is the only way I can get it out. I came to a new realization the other day though. I won already. I could destroy this puny guy at any time I please. But I have the woman he wanted to have. I have his baby to raise how I see fit, and I am going to be getting money from him to do all that. I don't see any kind of revenge on someone who's wronged me that is better than that. It's not about getting revenge, but this is a kind of closure for me. I look at the baby differently now than I have been, and I'm glad for that cut he didn't do any of this to me. Quick update. My wife meets with this guy for a few hours every Saturday so he can see his kid. It's in a public place per my demand. He had a discussion with her about what she will do with the baby when she goes back to work in January. His plan was to pay for daycare while she's at work. Then when he gets off, he picks up the kid and when she gets off then she takes him back. The idea was given to me by her for approval. I saw it as a practical solution to a problem, but I'm sure it will open many doors to problems. So, I'm back to square one it seems. I got into my wife's Facebook today and she had been having a conversation with a friend of hers. She told her that I hate her and she's holding on because ending an 8-year relationship is hard. She then went on to say that she still wants to be with the baby's dad. I really don't know what to do now. So, we had a conversation for a few hours. She told me she was lying to her friend, but I haven't quite figured out why yet. She told me she's been unhappy with me for a very long time. She said also that she's unhappy with herself, which makes it hard for her to be happy with us. She said it seemed like I've hated her for a while now, but that she still loves me and wants this to work because of that. I don't know really what to take of all that was discussed. It all happened quickly and I was very unprepared for it. I'm sure there will be more to come. I really think she is on her way out. She keeps telling me that she is so unhappy with herself and how she was because she cared that little about me to do those things. She sounds very negative about our future together with the way she words texts and speaks things now. I realize I am partly to blame for it getting this way because I've been nothing but a drag down for the last year. I will see this through till the end, but every conversation we seem to have just points towards divorcing because I am not interested in separating. I know all that will be is her running off to him and I'm not waiting around to do that again. So, the new news is that OM got parts for my wife's car and had it fixed. She told me about it because she wanted to be honest. She said she didn't want to, but we can't afford to get it fixed and she needs it for the children. I agreed it was best off that it got done, but obviously it hurt me that it was done and we talked about that. The bad thing that happened is my wife put a lock code on her phone again, and then we talked about that and it came out. After a lot of prying that he sent her a message that he loved her. I wish I could have seen the response to it, but everything was deleted. So now I have the Facebook message that she still wants to be with him. The car thing, and him telling her he loves her going on top of the she's still unhappy and distrusting I've changed thing. What am I doing anymore? I don't doubt that everything is about the kid. I think him making a play for her is just so he can have the baby as much as possible. He's told her on a few occasions that she should just give him the baby and forget about it all. He's just trying to manipulate it. He's a used car salesman. Wife and I have had quite a few long talks here lately. I told her the situation we are in right now isn't working out, and it's time for us to separate. In a few months, financial constraints, she will be moving out to live on her own. We have laid down schedules for the kids staying with whom. I told her that the way things are going now is just the equivalent of being stuck in the mud. The tires are spinning and we're going nowhere. Both of us need to find some sort of self-identity and worth, and it's not going to happen with how things are now. She said she wants to do MC while we are living apart and try to get us back on track, but I told her she can't do that until she forgives herself for what happened. We had a very long talk about her not coming to grips with what happened and what she did, and it's something that weighs on her an unbelievable amount. She tries to carry the majority of the blame, and I told her that the only blame she has to carry is stepping out on us. The rest of it is equal. So, to summarize, wife moving out, working on myself. And I don't have to be a weekend-only dad. I am actually kind of excited about this, to be honest. I think it's good for us and best for me. 2 months later, she moved out. I tried to post this as it happened but was having trouble with the site. I sat there as her and her sister packed her things into a truck and moved it to the place she's renting. This is something we decided together, so it wasn't a shock. We decided it was best for us both individually. Each of our respective halves are super damaged and the whole can't function until this is fixed. I plan on starting therapy soon to help me through this. Even though this was discussed, it is still heartbreaking. My wife is gone and I am alone with my kids for half of the day. We're keeping them on the same schedule we are now. Working opposite shifts helps a lot with that problem. The biggest issue still is the presence of the OM. He's still around to be part of the baby's life, and with her family passed. This is not open for debate. I'm sure he'll mess it up, but for now it's a problem. She already can't stand him and they argue constantly, so that's a small consolation. I guess. I love my wife to a fault. I've looked every which way of foolish throughout this whole thing. I don't think my dedication to someone I love can be questioned. I'm also not dumb, and this will never happen with her or anyone again. I have more than enough issues because of this, so now it's on to fixing myself. I've already made some selfish purchases and have made plans to go to Chicago for a concert and see the Cubs play in May. I am excited as to what I can do by myself. This is really the first time I've been on my own ever. I am very sad, heartbroken, and upset that it came to this. It's difficult to stay upbeat, but I see more of the old me in myself, and so do my friends, whom I've leaned on exponentially through this. I guess I'm just posting to feel better about watching the only love I've had move out of our life. I don't know, but this is kind of therapeutic. OM will not sign rights away. He likes the title of dad to show off too much. It's being dad is where the problem lies. Quick update. I told my wife Friday I wanted a divorce. I've been working 12-hour days, 3 a.m. 3 p.m. Thursday night it was snowing, and I offered that instead of driving to my place to pick our kids up and then back to hers, that she just stays with me instead of driving. She made many excuses, so I just said whatever. Forget it. Early the next morning I drove past her place on my way to work and his car was here. No lights on or anything, so I called at 3 in the morning, caught her in her lies, and went off on her. I'm pretty sure there was no bonding involved, but I won't blindly accept that. My kids were in the next damn room and could have walked in on that. I was so pissed that I left work early and came over to her place, sat down, and said I am going to file for divorce. You obviously can't be trusted with anything involving my feeling and heart, and I won't do it anymore. I put myself through a lot of hell for this marriage and this woman, and the first chance she got she treated me like and all my efforts were nothing. We talked for a good 5 hours about everything, and I am going to look into my options for filing. We agree on everything that needs done, so we're going to do this without lawyers. I feel like a huge weight is off my shoulders and chest. It's a strange feeling I have now. My mourning process was long ago and I just feel calm and at peace with this. I didn't expect it. Of course, now she is regretting what happened and is trying to make amends. But it's too late. I told her if this ever worked between us it would be many years away, and after she showed me drastic changes in her life and personality. The custody thing isn't a problem. We work opposite shifts from each other, so when one has the kids, the other is at work, and vice versa. She has already told me that she won't go after me for child support as long as I pay on the debt we owe. She really can't take on that much more financial burden, and the benefits of getting support from me don't outweigh the financial drag down of helping our debt. Plus, I'm paying on that already, so it's no different than now anyway. For the most part, we are very agreeable with normal everyday things. This is one aspect of her I trust her not to go astray on. Just about the only part of her I can. I fully plan on letting a lawyer look over everything when we're done. I don't want to get the screw job because of a filing mistake on my part. Ever since I said to my wife I wanted a divorce, she has changed completely. She is basically her old self, in sense of attitude and interaction with me. She is beginning the process of collecting child support from the OM and cutting him out. An ex-girlfriend of his contacted her and told her about how he really is. This is all very confusing for me. It's what I've been wanting for so long, and now that I finally got to the point of saying go away, she wants to give me a 180 to make things right. This makes my head and heart spin. I want to go on with my life now, but I also want my life with her back. Just so conflicted. I am going to have a talk with my wife tonight about what is going on and how confused this is making me. I don't get how she can just switch this on like that after everything that has happened, and then be totally astonished that this is putting me back 10 feet. I mean, I said I wanted a divorce. I got to the point where even I said screw it, I'm done. And now she wants it all back. I get all the stuff I wanted and missed. The I love you, I miss you, I need to cuddle. Everything I wanted to have and hear the last 2 years. Yesterday my wife texted me saying that the OM was demanding the baby and freaking out on her. Then he took care to remind her that he is licensed to carry a gun now and that she needs to be scared. She also found out that he has been making plans to steal the baby and run to Florida with the aid of his parents. Found out from this guy's ex-girlfriend. She called the cops and got a restraining order from him. Crazy day. Since then, she's declared her devotion to me and given me passwords and her phone and said she'll do anything to win my trust and prove herself to me. She said she wants to grow old with me and she knows now how much I meant to her. The only problem with that is I'm not sure if I care anymore. Because I also find out she has been keeping her options with him open this whole time and telling me it's nothing. Basically, an emotional affair over texting and phone calls. Really thinking about serving the papers is the easiest option right now. My comment: I know, most of you will think this is a doormat story, and I agree with that, but it's never too late to leave your relationship or marriage for something better. If OP can do it, anyone can do it, right? Time for my weekend nap.